Hello, everyone. So, just so glad I have a warm audience because I've been working on this piece and it has been nuts. What is marketing? When you guys think of marketing, what do you guys think of?
Marketing is delivering a message or product to a person that would benefit from your service. So it involves communication and delivery of product and services.
Exposure.
I think marketing is a way of letting people get to know who you are and what your values are, and it's a way of making it a warm relationship with people that you don't know, so that when they need something, they think of you and they like, the whole know, like, and trust, but you're kind of putting yourself out there, but you're not trying to sell them anything. You're just as daily kind of building a relationship with the people that are reading your stuff, even if you don't know who they are.
That's right. And I like what you said there, Marguerite, who had posted in the my EXP family group, and she shared the gal that talks about, that we all hear, oh, marketing, social media marketing, that's where it's at right now. You got to be on social media. But she's like, that's not the route for every single person. And I love that she said that, because I feel like if we're looking at marketing from a perspective of what works for other people, then naturally we're going to have an inclination to try and compare our results to theirs. But in addition, it can become overwhelming because maybe that doesn't resonate with you. It's like, focus on the channels that do resonate. Like you mentioned, like writing. So that could be blog posts. It could be newsletters. It could be postcards or whatever written content. If you're wanting to kind of shy away from video or something else that may be someone else's go-to, like just figure out what works for you and then work with that. Yes, Stephanie says sharing your credibility with others, 100%. So this was kind of what I had started to work on. I define marketing as the art of helping prospects in your marketplace get to know you, like, you, trust you. It's that simple. I feel like, as professionals, we have a tendency to try to overthink it. Like, oh, I've got to have this marketing website that knocks every other website completely out of the water. So I've got to pay $5,000-$10,000 to dial it. Like, no, people want to know you, like, you, trust you. That's it. It's that simple. And so I'm going to keep saying that. It goes back to that same fundamental quality of what marketing really truly is at the end of the day. So, and how do we get people to know us, like us, trust us? Creating and sharing your brand, storytelling, having a clearly defined and articulated offer upon completing a call to action, which ultimately generates prospects and leads. What do you guys think of when you think of brand? Like, what kinds of things come to mind for brand?
When I think of brand, it's more of a specialization, because real estate could be a vast field, and a branding could be a specialization within the industry. Like, for example, if you're working with veterans or seniors or first-time home buyers, it's a segmentation of the market.
That your definition really goes hand in hand with niche too, right?
Well, it's like you said with the niche, it's like you define who you want to talk to and who you want to work with. And you can even, I was just looking at something today that was about, like, not yelling out into the void, I do this, you kind of like narrow it down to who are you talking to specifically, because that way what you're putting out there, what they like and what you're offering are the same thing. And it's okay if other people aren't buying your products and don't like that. You just eliminate that altogether and just talk specifically to the person that you want to work with. So that's who you attract.
Lewis says individualism, purpose, mission. That's right.
I think a brand is kind of, that special characteristic about, your product or service that makes you special. Case in point, like, I got 2 daughters and they love Lululemon.
Yes.
you know. So when they think of that, it's like, oh, that they're comfortable. They're so, you know, they're just really comfortable. They're cool looking and they're expensive. Like, whoa, you know, that is a brand. You know what I mean? Where you like compare it to like an Old Navy brand, it's like, this material's not as quality and they fade a lot faster. So again, it's that special uniqueness that you bring to the table, whatever it is, you know, your service or goods.
It's funny because so within my team, we'll talk about branding and I remember we were having a conversation like a week ago, and I'm like, so okay, so your kid gets a boo-boo, what do you grab? They're like, a Band-Aid. I'm like, no, it's a bandage. But Band-Aid has done such a phenomenal job of creating that brand that their name is now synonymous with boo-boos, right? Or like, you need to clean out your ears. What do you use? A Q-tip? No, that's a cotton swab. You know what I mean? But again, Q-tip has really just done such a fantastic job that you just think of them when it comes to the, cotton swabs. So, it's like, how do we become that in real estate? And again, like to all of your points, how do we become that within the marketplace that we're actually trying to target? Because, it's just like, so I talk about this here as I scroll down. Imagine your brand is the whole picture. What clothes do you wear? What car do you drive? How do you show up in the marketplace? How do you convey these things to your market? Now, you might ask yourself, like, why would it matter what clothes I wear? But that's the thing. It's like, are you trying to market to a niche where, that everyone's wearing designer clothes, and so you're showing up in a suit and a tie, and you got your shoes all shine and everything, but are you going to wear that same outfit when you go show country property, rural property? And for us ladies, we're wearing stilettos or whatever. I don't wear stilettos, but other ladies wear them. And we're walking around trying to show country property and getting stickers in our our heels. It doesn't go. I drive a Honda Pilot now. That's because I really was working at branding myself as a country property specialist. And I do know a lot about country property, probably more than, a lot of agents that don't deal with country property on a regular basis, but I'm showing up in a Honda Accord. So I got stuck in the snow. And so one time of getting stuck in the snow, another time of almost getting stuck in a ditch. And I'm like, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be out like taking your Honda Accord off-road and trying to get to a property that maybe is a little harder to access, and then branding yourself as that country property specialist and showing up in heels. So that's why I say it goes back to, what clothes do you wear? What car do you drive? How do you show up in your marketplace? And then how do people see you? It's like, if you're going to compete in your marketplace based off of being a realtor that's giving back and contributing, like we had a brokerage here, and I won't say any names, obviously, but we had a brokerage that was really going hard on being, the realtors that care and that they're involved with anything volunteering and all of those things. And all of these different events, and I'm like, where are they? Like, they're never showing up, so it really creates the opposite effect of what they were going for. Because like, if you're not showing up in a meaningful way, then you're really, it's again creating that opposite effect. So what are some things that you guys are thinking of as we're having this discussion, that are centered around kind of what you want? Like, what do you want your market to think about you?
I want my clients to be able to trust me. It's like, okay, that they understand I'm on their side. I'm an advocate for them. Yes, I'm in a career and I'll earn a commission, but I'm also putting their interests before mine.
So let's just step back for a minute. Let's say that this is somebody that does not know you. What market are you in? Where are you?
Roseville, but I have a lot of clients in Northern California. mainly
Okay.
seniors.
all
Means-
over.
Okay, yeah, I know, right? Well, let's just say Roseville. So somebody in the neighbors page, you know, tags you in a post, they're looking for a realtor. And so you don't know this person from Adam. So they're gonna go, or they don't know you from Adam, better yet. So they're gonna go and they're gonna start poking around online on your social media and also your websites or blog, anything where they can find any of your content. So what do you want them to, like, obviously the trust factor, but even more like, what do you want them to be able to feel like, as far as your values, as far as like how you show up, things like that?
Right. I want them to see me as a member of the community, that I give back locally, that I'm involved in the development and I know what's going on in the industry, the local market. And
That's
I can
right.
trust, that I can trust Joe. I can
That's
trust
right.
with my biggest investment in my life. You know,
That's
that
right.
he'll take care of me.
I love that. I love that. That's exactly it. What about you, Christy?
The same thing. I like to be part of the community so that I can identify with them, and we share a lot of the same experiences of Christmas time and the different events, the concerts in the park, just all of the things that we do in our community. That I'm part of it, and that I'm visible, and that people see me as somebody that does give back and does care, and that I'm also a professional realtor, and that they can trust me with their biggest purchase. And to be able to have them see that you are responsible because of how you behave in the community and how you get along well with other people, how you get along well with other realtors, and just generally that, so that they know that if they work with you, it's going to be a good experience.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid. I mean, I know that all the things that we do, we don't do for the pat on the back or for the brand awareness or the recognition, or even for somebody to step back and say, wow, that Christy, she really gives back. Like, we don't do it for that purpose, but also at the same time, don't be afraid to think about, sharing some of the things that you guys are doing, but in a way that you're not only encouraging other people to get involved, but also just sharing your thoughts on why you're doing it holistically. Like, hey, I'll tell people, hey, as a local business owner, I feel like it's my responsibility, as well as the responsibility of other business owners, to care enough about this community to be involved with efforts such as this, And so it's not just a business play, like it really does resonate, but at the same time, it's okay to let people see that is part of who you are, and don't feel like it's bragging, is what I'm trying to say. So what about you, CJ?
Well, I would hope, number one, that my reputation precedes me,
Right.
that it, hey, Chris is a guy that's trustworthy, he's reliable, and he, has high integrity. Whatever he says he's going to do it, it's going to get done. I want people, I want to come off as like, he's a down-to-earth guy. He's not, he's a family man, he's a member of this community, and he's not just in it for the money, you know what I mean? He's in it to genuinely help me and my family or my loved one with their problems, and if he can't solve them, you know what, Chris is a resourceful guy, and he can get me in contact with somebody that can, that has that specialty, and get somebody else involved if he can't take care of it. So that's part of being honest, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what, Chris, I love what you just said, because you know what, that's a nugget. If you guys, if none of the rest of this like really triggers anything that creates action that you guys aren't already taking, no, what Chris just said is huge. One of the best ways that you can become known in your marketplace is to become that local resource. So whenever there is, whatever media you're on, you don't have to be on all 20 of them, but oh, Tina Cole, yes, that was her name. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'll get back to that. But if it's, the next door, the neighbor next door app, or next door, whatever it's called, whether it's there, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether, you know, it's LinkedIn. Like whenever somebody has a need and they're asking for a referral, you can be that community resource where you're like, hey, I know Lincoln like the back of my hand. I will tell you the good, the bad, well, maybe not the bad, but I'll tell you the good about any company that you're looking for. You're looking for a plumbing company. I can tell you right now, these guys are like the water heater champions. You need to call them. They'll get someone right out. No after hour service call, blah, blah, blah. And you're like that connector. And that helps you to be that community expert. And it just, it speaks volumes, you know? So I love that you said that, Chris, like spot on. And so Randy's at volleyball practice, so she can't unmute, but she's listening. So we're glad that she's with us. Stephanie, what do you want people to think when they think of you with real estate, or you have that referral? Like, what is it that you want them to picture when it comes to your brand? So Stephanie says, trustworthy, reliable. I work with a lot of VA buyers. I want them to feel empathy for various situations, or that she has empathy for various situations. I too have been through as a military family. So it's like, okay, how do you speak to the unique challenges that VA buyers have? And right now I feel like, you know, like I've got VA buyers that are coming into the area that won't even be here until July, but they see how quickly our market is moving. So we're in escrow on a property now, but you know, they're not going to be here till July. So it's like, who's going to water the grass? Who's going to make sure that their toilets are flushed every week or whatever, just to keep things moving? You know, who's going to do all of those things? So yeah, so how can you still continue to serve the client even after the deal is done by being that resource? So like yesterday, I'll share a quick little video with you guys. With those same buyers, you know, I went over to the house that we're in escrow on to do my agent visual inspection disclosure. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but around your neighborhood during the middle of the day when we're not fighting the clock to get you into your yard before the daylight is gone or anything of that nature. So I am on your street now. I'm right down the street from, that's Markham Ravine there at the corner, and they have a very nice park. This is a great, great neighborhood where you see lots of kids out playing. You see people walking their dogs. Just a really good, you know, atmosphere, family friendly, and just beautiful. So I just wanted to, you know, like I told you guys, I'm your eyes and ears out here. So I just wanted to let you know. And I will get with you guys here in a bit with an update. I'm just here to do my agent visual inspection disclosure. And your house is looking gorgeous. Super exciting. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. So Randy says, I want to be top of mind whenever real estate comes up. I don't have a niche yet, but I want my clients to know that I will give them 100% and I am the right choice for them. And so I'm going to challenge you, Randy, just to start thinking about a niche, and don't be afraid of it, because the reality is you're still going to get those referrals from your friends, your family, your neighbors, your coworkers, or their coworkers. That people are still going to come to you that are outside of that niche. But I want to just kind of share this with you. So think about the last time you wanted to hire a photographer. Why did you need them? For example, were you getting married? Were you looking for newborn photos? Did you need a professional headshot? Did you go online and look up a wedding photographer to do your headshot? Probably not. You likely asked for recommendations for the best headshot photographer that your money could buy. Likewise, would you trust a doctor, you know, to perform a medical procedure if you walked in the operating room with a police uniform on? You know, we want to work with professionals who look the part, talk the talk, walk the walk. So do your clients. So act, dress, and show up accordingly. So just really sitting down and figuring out like what are your what is it that resonates with you, and what does that look like for you? And Chris just sent me something in my chat box, so I'm pulling it up. Basically, this is Mr. Don. I asked him, with cleaning, moving, and marketing his home. All right, I'm sorry, I assisted him for top dollar and asking price. We received multiple offers, got his home sold in a matter of days. It's an honor to serve those who serve this great country. Let me know if you're interested in selling your home. And then I have to say that I love what you did here, Chris, because what you did was you made a friend on the other end of that. Like, no matter if you guys had issues, if things were rocky or about to fall apart or whatever the scenario was, the fact that you made a friend of the buyer's agent by also reaching out, giving them the shout out, you know. So, you know, being able to give that shout out to the buyer's agent as well is huge. It's huge. So anyway, good job. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Because not only did you just brand yourself as a professional that is so confident in your own self, your own skills and your own abilities, that you're not afraid to give credit where credit is due to another, but you're willing to go the extra mile for your client, take great care of them, and make the whole process stress-free. So, you know, and even down, regardless of whether or not, you know, what our opinions are, even the fact that you wore the mask in the video, like all of those things all go back to your brand. You know, it's you're telling your community that you care and that you're being safe, you know. So all of those things are just awesome. It's just great. Just keep doing more of that. And it is kind of long game stuff, guys. It's like not necessarily like tomorrow, you know, someone's going to call based off that one post, but by the time you do get that, like I just got an email, I've got a listing appointment Thursday morning, and the person reached out to me from realtor.com. And the funny thing is, I know that she didn't come from realtor.com. I've never had to spend. My profile is not completely up to date. She just looked for my name, and that was the first medium that came up that she got, you know, my email address from. But the reality is, which actually sucks, but the reality is she decided to give me an opportunity to interview from other sources. And I know that, and I'll ask her when I see her, because again, don't be afraid to ask, like, who can I thank for the referral? And they'll say, oh, no, I see you all over the place. You do this, you do that, you sponsor this, you know what I mean? So, so it's just really, it's the big picture. It's that brand recognition everywhere. So I want to talk about storytelling. Like, what comes to mind when I say tell your story? Does that make anyone's stomach kind of turn a little bit?
My comment is that people want to hear stories about other people and they remember the stories. So I know in insurance, that's where I'm coming from, the insurance industry. You can talk about benefits all day, but if you back it up with a story, it's going to cement the message that you're trying to. An example, emergency. I'm sorry, I know health insurance. Okay, so an emergency room co-payment is $100.
Okay.
So you can. That's a flat out statement. But if you incorporate a story, usually I say when you're on vacation and you're in Hawaii, make sure to bring your insurance agent with you because it's warm and tropical. You know, I make a joke out of it. I use humor, but I'm also telling a story. So they're visualizing a tropical place with an emergency instead of just a flat out co-payment.
Right.
So I haven't transitioned fully over to real estate, but I'm sure when I present a home in different aspects, I'll be backing it up with stories.
No, and that's exactly right. You're right. I mean, that's the thing. It's like everything is very abstract to us until we actually hear something that we can relate to, something that resonates.
My first thought was like when we do our stories, even when we're posting our day or what we've done. And for me, this is terrible. I will take pictures, I'll do things, and then I'll forget to post something, or, you know, and and so I'm not as consistent with it and how I should be. And just like when he was saying, people are interested in other people's stories, and I like watching what other people are doing. I know all your kids, Misty. It's like everything that goes on because you show the stories and what they're doing and the dances they're going to and stuff. And we see that, and like you probably don't even realize that people enjoy that and they get to know who you are and your kids, even in a sense, not creepy or whatever, but you know what I mean. But
No,
so it's like, even so when I'm out and doing things, I even forget that, or I'll think, oh, nobody's interested in that, or so I won't post things, which I should. And that's what he reminded me of, is like that, yeah, people do like to see that stuff.
yeah, because people want to know that they're working with a real person.
Yeah.
And kind of when I was writing this up, I was talking about affinity. Affinity is a spontaneous or natural liking or sympathy for someone or something. And it's like, as people, why do we always want to root for the underdog? We want to root for the underdog because we've all been the underdog. It's not like everybody just has this big push to just see things that could be improved, and we want them to be improved. It's because we've all been there. We all know what it's like to fall flat on our face, or to be fighting so hard for something, and then it's not panning out in our time the way we want it to pan out. And that's the thing, is like, even things as small as saying, hey guys, this is what happened today, and it's okay to talk about your failures, talk about your successes. Like, people are going to want to support you because you're vulnerable, you're open, and you're authentic. And that's who people want to work with. And the people who don't, that doesn't resonate with them,
Right.
probably don't want to work with them anyway. So it's
But like, even when you look like this, like what I look like, my hair's in a ponytail, I've been working all day, but I just, we don't always put makeup on. So then we'll think, oh, I can't do that because I look terrible. But people really don't care, and that
no.
they don't see us the way we see ourselves.
Well, and the reality is, most people, most women and men, aren't completely dialed every day anyway. That's that's what we see, what people do when they're trying to look polished, because that's when they post, right? So we see the polished versions of them, and then we're like, oh, well, we can't post because we're not polished right now. But the reality is, it helps people to get to know you, like you, trust you, because they see that you're not 100% in that moment, and you're still okay with being vulnerable and letting them see you. So just let them see you. Who gives a shit? Like, nobody cares. I promise you that people just want to see you. And then they hear your story, and then they want to support you. Just a really quick story, and then I want to hear from Chris too. So tonight, I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off, like I was explaining to you guys earlier. And I went to order pizza for my kids because I'm like, well, this is going to be over at 7. I came back to my office, so my kids aren't like, there's not all the screaming and craziness going on. So I'm like, okay, I got to feed the kids. So I went to order pizza. So I'm thinking in my head, okay, well, who am I going to call? Well, I'm like, okay, Mountain Mike's. It's my favorite. I wanted to call Mountain Mike's. And then I thought, you know what? Marguerite and I walked into Lincoln Pizza a couple months ago, and we had some money that we collected with other realtors in the community, and one of our preferred lenders, and we pulled all our money together to help some businesses that maybe needed a little bit of help. Well, there was a local pizza company that they really had a hard time with this whole COVID thing. And I remember even having an offline conversation with one of the owners after we came in, because she was just so appreciative, and I had called in and I recognized her voice. And so we're talking, and she's like, Mitzi, that meant so much. These last few months have been just so hard. And so when I'm sitting there and thinking, okay, Mount Mike's is my favorite, but you know what? I'm going to call this other pizza place because I know their story, and I know that there's a family at the other end of this order. It's not a chain, it's a family, and they're not having a great go at it. And they just started this business right before COVID. And so I'm going to support them. And then I gave my daughter the money for the pizza, and I said, whatever's left over, just give it to the guy, give her $100 bill. I mean, we have a lot of people in our family anyway. So he didn't even give me a total, but I said, whatever's left over, just give the guy the bill, tell him not to give me any change, because that's going to help that delivery driver too. But it's like, that's the thing, is that if I hadn't heard their story, I would have had Mount Mike's, and there probably wouldn't even be any money left over anyway. So it's, that's a great example of how that really does make a difference. So Chris, what about you?
Well, lately I've been just kind of telling the story of like why I got into real estate too. I mean, I've known Joe here for like 16 years, 15 years. We were working in the same agency, and I tell people I got into real estate, and when people, they ask me how long I've been licensed, I tell them, well, I've only been licensed since 2018, September 29th of 2018. But that, I always back that up with, I've been a businessman since 2006. And the reason why I joined, real estate is because I wanted to extend my services in a different arena. And, Joe knows this, being an insurance guy, you're the most favorite person at a funeral, right? Because you're the guy that delivers the money, right? So out of all these years that I was doing with, selling insurance, health insurance, life insurance, annuities, I've always had families ask me, do you know a good realtor? And I, in retrospect, I back then I would just pass it off and just say, hey, go talk to this guy. And then I was just like, you know what, why don't I just become that person too? Like, why not? And I use this as a recruitment tool because, like real estate, insurance, it's typically you get a sale and then that's it. You sell an insurance policy, you might get some residual from it, but it's not a whole lot. And it's like how long can you sustain that for? And that's what attracted me to EXP, is because you could join any brokerage that you want to, but at the end of the day, what do you really have to show for it? Because I've known many insurance agents that have gone out there and just killed it, right?
Yeah.
But, something bad happens to them and like they become disabled or they die prematurely, or, just there's nothing really there to show for it. And they retire and it's just like, what do you have to show for it? So it's like, that's one of the reasons why I joined EXP. I'm maximizing what I like to do, right? Which is sell houses. But now I've offered, I can offer others, capitalize on making other forms of income by inviting you to our family, or, just keep trugging along and earning stocks, and selling houses. So that resonates with a lot of people that are, in business for themselves as well.
Sure.
Or they just, go there and sell one thing and that's it, So that's kind of like my story for recruitment.
I love that. I love it. And I love that you can be vulnerable and, start to finish, you can let people have a glimpse of how you think, your values, and how you want to help others. And that's great. That's awesome. And I know Stephanie and Randy, you guys can't talk, but why don't you guys add in the chat how you guys have been able to use storytelling in your business and what the results have been in that. And then I'd love to hear from Veronica. How are you, Veronica?
I like what you've been sharing about the storytelling. It definitely resonates with me. So I was with a boutique brokerage last year and made a move to EXP this year. And so while I'm not a completely new agent starting over in a larger brokerage without a strong team behind me that's handing leads and basically kind of funneling business onto my desk, it kind of feels like I'm starting over in a lot of ways. So I like what you're sharing, and it feels like a great way to launch and kind of craft your own brand, like you said.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see what you post and what kind of media do you think you're going to be sharing on, so I can follow you and watch you.
Yes. So I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. And so if you look up Veronica Brown Home, I'm on both of those platforms. And so previously, before real estate, I was in interior decoration. And so my Instagram tends to be heavy on the decor. And so what I'm trying to do right now is like find a way. I feel like my niche are people who I find so often that buyers need a vision. They walk into a home and they struggle to see past bad paint and awful carpet or a horrible kitchen. And I am blessed with an ability to kind of see through that to that diamond in the rough. And so I envision a version of real estate for myself that involves helping buyers see what maybe they couldn't see on their own.
I love that. And then on the sell side, I'll tell you, because my team and I have been having a ton of fun with this over the last year, especially. Like I have a storage unit and it's probably a little ridiculous. It's like $200 per month to store all this stuff. And I have enough stuff to probably furnish a couple houses. But even on the sell side, when you have that seller, because that seller always feels like their mess, their kid mess, be it kid mess or just, life in general.
Mhm.
Maybe they don't, their dishes pile up a little bit over a couple days or whatever life happens. And they feel like they live this crazy, messy life, and they don't know the first thing about decorating or whatever. And when you're able to walk in and say, oh my gosh, no, your house is just lived in. And, I always tell sellers, when we're done at your house, and I give you your checklist of things to do to prepare for the market, then we can go to my house and you'll see my checklist is longer, and then it kind of softens that blow and kind of
I like that.
Yeah. But the thing is like that you being able to say, look, like, okay, you see your house from the eyes of the fact you guys have been living here and obviously you're looking to make a move. So let me come in and let me kind of give you a checklist, like take these things out. I'm going to bring these things in and I'm going to make your real estate photos pop so much that you're going to want to rebuy your own house.
Mhm.
So anyway, you'll, as you really start to develop and refine that niche, I can't wait to see all of the different things that you're able to do on both ends of that. That's so cool. I love it.
Mhm.
Thank you. How about you, Carlene? What kind of ways have you been able to use storytelling and kind of defining that brand in your business? I want to read you guys what Randy wrote. Randy says, people like to hear your story so they can relate to you. If they don't personally know you, the title realtor can be intimidating if buyers or sellers are not educated on our role. I spoke with a buyer today that was so against realtors because she thought she was going to have to pay the commission. Since I was the one to help her understand the process, I'm now working with her. That's absolutely right. I mean, the reality is not only do buyers and sellers not always understand, how it works, but in addition, again, when you're able to not only like clearly define your value, but also help people to understand your story and your beginnings and things like that, then they can, more closely connect. Like I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard my story, coming to the office when I was a brand new realtor, with no gas. And I'm like, how in the world am I going to make it to the office? I have floor duty at the time. I was with a brokerage that we had floor and rotated. And I do floor. And I'm like, God help me if a buyer actually wants to go look at houses, because I don't even know if I have enough gas to get home. And then being able to kind of get the business going and then kind of dig out of that hole financially. But it's like, you just it's all part of your story, and it's humbling, and I'm not afraid to tell it, because we've all been there. But you're right, people think, oh, realtors we're so glamorous, like we live this charmed life or whatever, and that's so far from the way it really is. So you guys all understand the whole purpose of a marketing piece is to get the phone to ring. Once you get on the phone with the potential buyer or seller, your job is then to set the appointment. So you're not going to sell them a house based off of, you know, that initial contact. Like somebody's not going to call and you're like, okay, you know, buy this house. You have to make the appointment and meet them in person first, or meet them via Zoom if they're out of the area or whatever. So it's those steps, you know, you get the phone to ring, and then you set the appointment, and then you connect with that person as a client. So it's in that order. But so when we're talking about a marketing offer, that would be kind of like on our KV Core, for example, of those of us that are at EXP Realty, or, you know, it could be a webinar that you're watching. It doesn't even have to be related to a tool that we have. It could be a webinar that you're watching. You know, they give you, you have to sign up for that webinar, right? So you're asked for your name, oftentimes your telephone number, and then your email address. And once you provide those pieces of information, then you have access to the free webinar where there's information provided. So you complete their call to action, then they give you access to what it is that you want. So as far as like my purposes are concerned, I mean, I've done everything from, you know, first time buyer seminars. I did a move up buyer seminar. I've done some marketed and co-branded seminars for like going over VA process, things like that. The sky's the limit. You know, you can really create some different pieces of value like that, just based off of kind of the niche and the audience that you're looking to reach, and then, you know, put that content out and then drive traffic. So that's all, I feel like, more of an advanced kind of class anyway. But when I do complete this piece, it's going to really go in depth on the steps to do that, and creating landing pages and all of that, then really just break it down. So, and we're getting kind of close to time, and I want to be very respectful of your guys' time. So as we kind of wrap everything up, what types of information do you guys think would be really helpful as far as some of the things that I've just touched on?
What you were saying about the offer in marketing,
Mm-hmm.
and this is just because I'm a novice at the EXP platform.
Yeah.
Is that something that you create through like the KV Core, or was that something that you generated independently in a private website with a tech team behind you?
Well, so there's, I mean, I've done so many different, I've created so many different pieces. Like right now, I think I have 1,100 contacts in my database, and a lot of that has been through just different, like, see, and this was all these were all things I really wanted to touch on in this document that I was creating and ran out of time to complete. But for example, last year when COVID hit, we did a Mother's Day giveaway. So we had all of the people in the community that wanted to tag their mom, tell her story, and give us all of her contact information and their contact information. Just give us a little story about their mom and what made her so special. And we actually put together 3 baskets. So I teamed up with local business owners. So I had one gal that owns a winery, one gal that does makeup, handmade soaps and lotions. There was 6 of us all together. So, and I can't remember what, one gal did candy or something. Yeah, candy. And then I don't remember what the other 2, but we were all women, all moms. And we even created a little video where we were out at the winery, all socially distanced. And we were talking about like how important moms are in a normal market, or not market, but a normal, under normal circumstances. Well, now you throw COVID in the mix, and now moms are teachers, and moms are, you know, helping their children to stay sane and safe, and all of these different things. Like our plate just went from being just crazy full to being overloaded and then some. And so how do we honor that? How do we, that all of these things that we've already been managing are even tenfold now. So how do we honor that? So I had like 27 entries from local people who just wanted to honor their mamas. So we had husbands that were doing write-ups on their wives. We had children we had moms honoring other moms, and then everybody who was part of this, they all got chocolate dipped strawberries. They all got something. So we had these little gift baskets that everybody got, and then 3 of the moms were honored in a big way with a big gift basket that had all of these goodies and a bottle of good wine and all of this other stuff in there. And then I took my son out, and we went and we hand delivered them to all of the houses. And it's like, man, talk about what a cool thing. I mean, no one was selling houses. It was like April, right? And the whole market was just like, came to a complete stop. So what are we going to do? How are we going to still love on people and stay relevant and stay top of mind? So, you know, that was 27 contacts that went on my database times 2, because I had all of the contact information for the person that tagged, you know, that nominated the person, and then all of the contact information for the mom themselves. So stuff like that, you know. Obviously I wasn't, you know, my thought in my head wasn't, oh, I just really hope that I, you know, sell a house to, you know, one of these people. But it was just like, that's what felt like it was right to do in that moment, at that time period, whether or not I ever sold another house. It was, we have to do something. We have to do something for the mamas, you know? So that's just one example. But I mean, I've done everything from things like that to first time buyer seminars. You'll get a bunch of people that'll sign up and maybe a third show up, but now you have all the contact information of everybody who signed up, regardless of whether or not they showed up. They're still in your database, you know. Just being able to get contacts from, you know, anytime there's a community event, raffle. My team and I just went to a golf tournament a couple months ago, and you know, golf tournaments are happening because they're all outdoors. And then we had these little raffle cards and just got a couple baskets, put them together with local folks, and we got like 100, I think, because there was 50 foursomes, so we got the contact information for pretty much everyone who came through. You know, that's almost 200 contacts, depending on whether or not they're married, you know, type of thing. So anyways, just things like that, like the sky's the limit. So I am going to do another class, and then I'll really drill down on what all can be done. But yes, I talked about things that have nothing to do with the XP, but you're absolutely right. KV Core is a perfect example of an opportunity to be able to drive traffic to your website and grab that contact information and then respond accordingly. So we can really talk more about that. And I just made a note on that. So I'll partner with Marguerite on that, because she's pretty smart with all of that stuff. So, all right. So we're right at 7. Did anyone have anything to add before we wrap up?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for being on the Zoom. And yeah, it's just such a pleasure. I've been looking forward to this all day. So I hope you guys have a really great evening, and I'll see you guys all soon.